Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my shop. All right, welcome. Let me see. This is getting towards the end of September, and it's rainy. It's wet. Can't get out and hike. Can't get out and cruise. So I guess what I'll do is I'll just find that round to it and do a little scheduled maintenance to this 2006 BX23D. So stay tuned if you're interested in such stuff, and we'll go through it. I'll show you how I do it. Maybe you do it better, maybe you haven't done it before, but in either case, stay tuned and check it out. Alright. Okay, like I said in the beginning, this is a 2006 BX23D. Not to be confused with the newer BX23Ss. I don't know why Kubota stayed with 23. They started out with 22, the BX22, then the 23, the 24, the 25. BX, did they do a 26? I'm not sure. But instead of keeping that going in that direction, they went, for some reason, they went back to BX23, but instead they put an S. So anyway, this is a BX23D, a 2006 model, and it's got the D905 three-cylinder diesel engine. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick startup. The reason why I'm going to start it up is, well, get a little bit of oil circulating, and I want to lower the deck to the very lowest setting. So anyway, we're going to give it a couple seconds of glow plug here, and it should crank right on up. One of the neat things about the BX series of these Kubotas are that the mid-mount mowers, the mowing decks, are fully suspended, and you set your height by this height knob. If you notice, I don't know if you can make it out, but it's set at 0, 0, so the deck is at the very lowest spot it can be at. That's where you would want it at to remove it, but I'm not removing the deck. I just want to get it so low, and I'm going to remove the front bracket so I can get up to the oil change. So anyway, all right, what I'm going to do, I don't have to, but I'm going to remove the front bonnet. That's what Kubota calls it. We can call it a cowling, but I'm going to remove that so I can give an overall inspection. And to do that, I need to remove this front grill guard. So anyway, let's open him up. And there she is. Now first I'm going to remove the grill guard, and that's going to take the 3/4 inch socket, whatever the equivalent is in metric, but 3/4 works good. Next I'm going to take a 10mm and remove the 4 bolts that hold the bonnet on. Alright, now see, she's free to come off. Whoop. Disconnect, just twist and turn to get the headlight bulbs out. Alright, now she's ready to come off. Partially close it, and it'll slide right off. Now there's easy access to do all your inspection. Like I say, you didn't have to remove it to actually even get to the oil filter. I'll show that when I get done. But it's good just to get everything out of the way so you can give a good all inspection, because I haven't looked at this in 100 hours. Now I'm going to remove this front bracket. It's what secures the front of the mower. The little pin here, I'll pull it out and drop it down, and there we go. It should simply unhook from the deck. Put him up here out of the way. Now I can slide this under there to get the engine oil. So I'll bring it down here and show you. Alright, see if you can see it right here. That is your oil drain plug. And you can see where I just barely can get that drain pan right there where I can catch it all. So let's get that off. And that's a 14 millimeter. Make sure he's all the way over, because he just barely catches. Look at that, just barely. All right, while that oil's draining, I'm going to go ahead and pull the air filter. Now I'm going to wait to pull the oil filter, because it holds probably, even though it's small, it holds still quite a bit of oil. So anyway, let's get that air filter off now. Well, he's pretty dirty. Not too bad though. That's the part number there. It's an equivalent instead of being a Kubota part. All right, there's a comparison. They match up good. Looks the same to me. All right. I've already wiped down the inside of the housing here, so he only goes on one way. You want to push him all the way in to seat him. Okay. And then the cap, I've wiped him down also. He goes on, he can go on different ways, but it's clearly marked. So right there, you see. Now this, I've replaced that about 4 times over the, what, how many years now? 2006, almost 19 years I've owned this thing. I've probably replaced this 4 times. I've never got really anything out of it, but I guess it does some kind of turbulence when it circles the air around before it goes through the filter and in. It gets rid of the big stuff here, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, let's see how that oil is looking. He's down to a slow drip. I'm about ready to go ahead and close him up, pull the filter off. The reason why I'm not draining the hydrostat at this time is because I'm going to need that. The hydrostat holds a little over 2.5 gallons. And so you're going to have to swap containers unless you've got a lift and you can get a 5-gallon bucket under it. Anyway, we're going to do it. There, roads are wet. All right, here's the oil filter here. You can actually get to it with the bonnet on, all this stuff around it, okay? But like I said, I'm doing an inspection and I'm going to show you all a few things, some modifications I've done, and we'll go from there. Let's see. Looks like I did this back in April, 1400 hours, April of 24. So it's taken me over a year to get 100 hours. I use a big old pair of channel locks to get that off, and we'll get that off here in a moment. This is a big, I think it's a 30 amp fuse. This is if you lose this fuse, you'll lose all your power. I've never had to replace this yet, but that's where he hides, all right? But I'll go over that here shortly. I like a Wix filter. All right, that's the Wix oil filter, 51064, and that is the exact fit. All right, let's put him on. Now new, I put 10W30 diesel oil in the Kubota, in the engine. But since I hit about 1,000 hours, I've changed to 1540 Rotella. Never had a problem whatsoever. And matter of fact, I run Rotella in both my Corvette and my 49 truck too. So anyway, it's really good for flat tapping cammed engines. So anyway, I pre-fill my oil filters. Now there's some folks that don't do it, and they're professionals and they make a good living doing it, but that's the way I was taught when I first started working on tractors and mowers and engines and cars and trucks. So I always do it, and I'll always continue to do it. I've not heard an argument yet that says I shouldn't. The only argument I've heard is that it doesn't do any damage. So anyway. Well, that oil filter goes on sideways, so it will leak a little bit, but that's all right. It'll still have some in there. Now, while I've still got easy access, I'm gonna wipe this down a little bit. Let some oil drain down. Once you get that filter on there, you can't get your hands in there. All right. All right, we got him wiped down. All right. A little bit here. All right. Now it's kind of a slam it in and go for it real fast. There we go. Get it on as hand tight as you can get it. That's all. You don't want to use any wrenches or anything to put these automotive style on there. All right. We got him wiped down. We'll go ahead and put some oil in it, and we'll go from there. Since I buy my oil in bulk like this, I really can't tell you how many quarts it holds. I think it's maybe 2. So I just put what I feel is enough in. Then I check it. Now that looks like it. Now it'll probably go down some when I start it and run it a little bit. See, it's right on the mark right now. Right there. I don't know if you can tell. But I'll end up having to probably add a little bit more. I like it totally topped off. I'm going to get these off because when I start this thing and run it, I want it to want to make sure that I get all the oil circulated, then I'm going to check it again. I've decided I'm going to remove this 3-point hitch. Now I can get under there easier. Now the hydrostatic drain is right here, and I'll bring you down here and show you. Right there, that's your drain plug here on the HST. So you can get some idea where it's at. Come down, and right there. All right, and it's a number 17 millimeter. I'm coming clean. I broke it loose before I broke it loose before I started the camera. Okay. Now this is going to drain a lot, and I'm going to have to get ready to put another one in. This is actually the first time that I've replace this without pulling the mid-mount mower off. So we're learning at the same time. Now for some reason Kubota hid the fill port here underneath the top link, and also right here is the dipstick. I don't know if you can see it right there. Okay, now I'll explain what this link is here momentarily. Well, I'll go ahead and do it now. This being a BX23, it is the factory backhoe model. In other words, it came with a factory backhoe attachment. Now this connector here is the power feed that gives the hydraulic fluid to the backhoe unit, and the return of the backhoe goes right here. Okay, now in normal operation, if you don't have the backhoe attached, you want this plugged back in here, because what happens is it'll stop your hydraulic flow without this connected back to itself. If you left it deadheaded, you would lose the 3-point hitch function, and probably your power steering too, because you won't have any hydraulic fluid circulating. So anyway, that's what this loop does, and I'm disconnecting it for now to get it out of the way. All right, and I will definitely make sure that I reconnect it when I go to put the start this thing up. All right, I'm going to show you where the hydrostat filter hides. Oh. And right there she blows. See him straight there. Okay. And I don't know if I can get a camera angle good enough, but I'm going to take the channel locks to get it off. All right. There he is. Alright, I think you can see possibly where it goes right there. You see it's draining down. Alright. So we'll let it drain and the rest of the HST drain. Then we'll be slapping that stuff back together. Always match your old with the new. And you see they're both the exact same part number. They're both wicks. Holes, gasket, everything's the same. So we should be good to go. Alright. And yes, I am going to pre-fill that with Super UDT2. And I'll show you that here in a minute. All I've ever run in this has been the Kubota UDT. Well, Super UDT. And then I don't know how many years ago they went to the Super UDT2, which basically took a dyno hydraulic oil and made it fully synthetic. So anyway, this is a full synthetic hydraulic oil. It doesn't say what the weight is. I think it's something like 1020, but I could be wrong. But anyway, that's all I've run in this as far as transaxle hydrostat fluid, hydraulic fluid, and that's Kubota brand. I know some others have done okay, but I got too much money invested in this machine. I don't care to spend a few more bucks to make sure I get good fluid. I didn't show putting the filter on, but there's one more thing I want to show. There is a screen in the return once hydraulic fluid leaves the hydrostatic transmission pump and circulates through whatever implement you have, like your front end loader or your backhoe, your mid-mount mower, okay, 3-point hitch. It returns and it goes through this metal screen. Now I'm going to pull this off and inspect it. So far I haven't seen anything alarming, and I hope that continues that way. Let me see. It's right here, all right? Now the light and the camera are in the way. I don't know if you can show it. It probably would be better if I had the wheel off, but you don't have to take the wheel off. Let's get this here. All right. Okay. It'll just barely fit out of there. I'm gonna blow that off. Hold on. Alright. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. Let's see. By not pulling the wheel off, I'm not giving real good angles. Okay. All right, this is what it looks like. Can you see? There's really nothing really bad. That's good. The fluid will go through the screen and then return back to the, this is like banjo fitting. There's an O-ring right here. All right, I'm gonna blow it off and put him back. Well, you all get the idea. You're in my way, so let me tighten that up. All right, time to refill it. See, I've got me a funnel rigged up here. All right, I've painted this dipstick white, black. I've tried all different ways to read it, and with the fluid, the hydraulic fluid, being clear, it's just almost impossible. I'll show you the easiest way I've found to check it. All right. Bring your dipstick out, get you a piece of paper and lay it across there, and then flip it over, and it's right. I don't know if you can see it. Is that seeing it? It's right at the fill line, the full line. In between these two lines is good. Below this bottom line there is at a quart, so that's basically a quart. Right now I am right at the top line. Now again, once I start and run this a little bit, I'll know more if I need to add more. Okay, so let's hook him up, and you can see my little my rigged up thing here. It should be good and drained by now. All right. See, it's just a funnel with a long extension on it. All right, and that's how I think the later BXs are easier. But BX22, BX2200, 2230, 23. That's it's kind of a hard spot to get at, but there you go. All right. Now I'm gonna put this to the side. And before I forget it, we're hooking this bad. Well, first off, we're gonna hook him back up. All right. Remember, if you don't get him hooked back up, your hydraulics are dead. Now I'm leaving the port open. Well, I'm gonna screw it down just a little bit. All right. So just to make sure nothing blows in there. All right, we've got oil in it. My past experience is I won't have to add much, all right, if any at all, because I don't have any hydraulics hooked up, and I've got the 3-point hitch all the way down. So that means there's no oil in the piston that holds it up. So I probably don't have to add any at all. So we'll see. All right, we're gonna do a double check, make sure everything's good, and we're gonna crank them up. All right, the moment of truth. All right, I'll cover the fuel filters here momentarily. Took a moment for the oil pressure light to go out. I'm going to show you all a few things that if you're new to the BX 22, 2200, 23, 2230, all those models are basically the same. Alright? Now what happens, sometimes Kubota provides these here two power ports. Here, that's a ground and a hot, right here, okay? That's a ground and a hot. A lot of people use them to connect these lights on the rocks, external lights, alright? Well, they work off the same fuse that your shutdown works down. So, let's say you hook something up to those power lights and you blow that 20 amp fuse, you're not going to be able to shut your engine down. But the key, you turn your key off, it's not going to shut down. What you can do, you can reach down through here, all right, with the engine running carefully. You want to get to this right here, all right. This is the manual shutdown. This is what the old tractors had back in the day. All you got to do is move him like that, and you're shut off. Okay, that's an emergency shut off. You could hook a cable if you wanted. Let me turn my key off. You can hook a cable to it if you want for emergency setup. But generally that fuse isn't going to blow unless you mess around with that power leads back there. So just be careful if utilizing that. All right, another thing that happens over time. Now, these Kubotas have a lot of safety switches on them. You got a safety switch on the pedal here, the treadle pedal, okay? You've got one on the PTO. If you have it engaged, doesn't matter if you've got it in any gear, but if you have it turned on, you will not be able to start the engine. You will not be able to get off the seat, all right? If you're running your PTO, your mower, let's say, or anything connected to the front like a brush or a sweeper or something, and you leave it running and you try to get off the seat, bang, it's going to shut down, all right? Now, one way, it does allow, if you flip the seat all the way up and you've got like a PTO generator on the back, it will not shut off utilizing that. But you got to be in the rear only PTO, and I'll show you on the other side. All right, I've been showing you on the wrong side. All right, here's your selector. All right, this is mid-mount position. That's mid-mount and rear, and that's rear only. If you're in the rear only, and you flip the seat up like this, it would allow the rear PTO to run without you sitting in it, okay? Otherwise, if you get out of that seat with the PTO running in the mid-mount or combination position, it's going to die, okay? Also, if the switch on your treadle pedal isn't true, if you got the pedal depressed in any position and you try to get off the seat, it'll die and it will not start. If you have the gear selector in any gear, it will not start. All right. Now, what happens? All these safety switches over time, they build up a resistance in the contacts. Okay, and of course the wiring. You know, maybe they get a little corrosion on the connections, but whatever happens, it starts making resistance in that start circuit. And you're going to get to the point where you're not going to be able to start the engine sometimes. You'll turn the key on and you'll go to start and it won't start. That's because there's so much resistance in these safety switches that it's not enough current to pull the starter solenoid. Yeah, let me see if I can get my light. Of course, it'd be over here. All right, there we go. So you can wire in with Kubota even sells a kit, and I'm going to show you. It's called a start solenoid, all right? Now, this is just your standard 12-volt automotive relay I've wired into this circuit. Now, what I've done, didn't have to cut any wires, all right? The wire that originally goes to the starter solenoid, which is this one right here, okay? I pulled it off, and instead of it trying to engage the starter solenoid, I have it to throw this relay. See, this relay will throw on even 8 volts, okay? So it doesn't matter if your 12 volt is all the way down to 8. It will throw this relay. It will engage it, okay, or energize it. And then I took the hot lead off the battery connection here that goes back to the battery, ran it through the relay into the solenoid. You see this blue wire here. I did a video on this. I guess I could show a schematic maybe at the end of the video. But what happens is now when you turn the key to start, it energizes the relay and it takes 12 volt right off this connector here and puts it to the solenoid, and it starts every time, and it does not bypass any safety switches. All the safety switches still function as they should, okay? So you may have to do that. I haven't had a bit of trouble since I wired that in. Now there's one of the fuel filters right there, okay? And the other one, and that's the one that generally gets dirty the most. Let me see if I can show you. It's underneath here next to the electric fuel pump. All right, and you're not gonna be able to see it. It's up here in the frame rail. Okay, but you got an electric fuel pump, and then you got a filter, then the electric fuel pump, and that's what you hear clicking when you turn your key on. You hear that clicking sound? That's your electric fuel pump. All right. Let me see, I showed you the emergency shutdown, start relay, fuel filters. I probably need to flush my radiator. I haven't done it in probably 600 hours. Haven't had any overheating problems, but it's getting old. I may just do that, but I'm not doing that today. So anyway, we're gonna put this puppy back together. I think it's good to go. It's getting hot. All right, I didn't show putting the hitch back on, but I still will be using implements on it before I'm done come winter time, so I wanted it back on. Ended up I had to add more hydraulic fluid to it. Normally I would go 2.5 gallons plus half a quart. Now I've done that for 19 years practically. Well, now I ended up having to go 2.5 gallons and a full quart. So maybe a quart ain't a quart no more, and 2.5 gallons ain't 2.5 gallons no more. But it didn't leak out, and it ain't never took that much before. I don't know, boys and girls. Anyway, that's ready for another 100 hours before the next oil change, and another 300 hours before I gotta go through that hydrostatic transmission fluid. So anyway, I am going to blow the radiator out, and I'm going to show you a special tool I have. This wand right here, and what you want to do, I guess I should show you. I guess I'll show you. All right, hold on. What happens is, even though the radiator is right here, okay, here's the pre-filter screen. You see that? Anytime he's got stuff on him, I know I got to pull this. All right, it's real easy to do. Unscrew that knob. All right. And oh, look at all that. Yeah. It still sucks in a lot of grass. Let me get a flashlight and I'll show you closer. See, there's the radiator right there, okay? And if you look down in that void, you can see grass buildup. And look at this grass here, okay? And there's a better shot of it. Yeah, let me get you off here. And look at that. Look how it, see the grass, how it's built up down there. Okay. Now, that'll eventually build up to the point where it'll make it overheat. So what I do, let's put you back on this. All right, we got you situated. Let's get some hose. I end up doing this probably, oh, I don't know, every 3 or 4 mowings. But anyway, I don't know if you'll see it, but let's blow it out. And that really blew it out a lot. I guess you couldn't see it. But you need the wand to be able to get down in there and blow back. All right, that'll blow it back through the intake. But anyway, now we're done. Well, all right, that all to do it. Figure, well, all the material for if you got to do the hydrostat transmission, it's gonna double your price. Well, it's going to more than double your price because the hydraulic fluid is expensive. Now, Tractor Supply and some other manufacturers make some pretty good hydraulic fluid, but I've never, I decided back in the day that I've never had a problem, knock on wood, with any of my hydraulic system other than a few leaks. So I'm not, I just didn't want to introduce anything that could cause me some problems down the road. So I stuck with the Super SUDT2 Kubota brand, which I think may be made by Valvoline, but don't hold me to it. Who knows who makes it? It could be some Chinese or Japanese. I would almost think a Japanese company perhaps. But anyway, the oil, Rotella 1540. The filters, they're not Kubota. Well, the hydrostat filter is a Kubota filter, but I got it off Amazon. And the oil filter is a Wix filter. I was going to say Twix. I got Halloween candy on my mind, I guess. So the oil filters are Wix, and the air filters are Wix. I'll put links to them if you're interested in them. They're about half the price of what you'd pay for the same thing with the Kubota name stamped on it. So anyway, again, I put more fluid in it than I normally had to do, and it didn't leak. It didn't go anywhere. There's no implement connected, so I have to assume or surmise that there wasn't the stated amount of fluid in them containers that it was supposed to be. I was shy a half a quart. Well, and Kubota fluid, you buy it by the quart, it's like $10, $12. That's like a $6 bill. Anyway, so blow out the radiator. You won't run hot. Of course, my mowing season, I mow actually up into November, and a lot of that is just mulching up leaves. I got a lot of trees, and I like having a lot of trees, and I don't mind mulching up the leaves. So I'll mulch leaves in November, but I think I have to mow maybe one more time in November. I got to mow in October though. So anyway, we're good to go. The mower's good to go. I didn't show grease in it, but we're greased up. There's not a whole lot of grease into these things. The axle, the front axle, I checked it. I should have showed you that. But I went to 80/90 in the axle, but it came from the factory with Super UDT2, well, Super UDT. The same fluid in the hydrostat was in the front axle, and I changed it to a thicker oil when I changed it the second time. When you get these things new, of course, you're not going to get these things new anymore. But I think the newer models may do the same thing. But at 50 hours, you really should change all the fluids out. And then at 100 hours, you change it again. Then you're on your regular 100-hour and 300-hour maintenance. So, because you got a lot of break-in stuff. And I followed the book to the T. Whatever the book calls for, I would do that. And on your newer stuff. And like I say, I've got 1,500 hours now, 19 years. And this thing, it mows 4 acres. Oh, you know, every year it's mowed 4 acres. I used the front end loader to do a lot of digging and carrying. I've used the backhoe and the loader to dig out, 2 footings for house additions. Mine, dig out and then refill a hole for a pool. So my pond, I've had to dig it out a couple times. And I was back when I had a lot of trees here on my lot. I had a lot of ash trees, but the emerald ash borer done them in. And so I was cutting a lot of them down, and I was using the backhoe to hold it up, and it made a real handy helper, a real strong helper, non-complaining helper too. So anyway, these machines, if you've got work you need to do around your place, you've got an acre or more, you can't go bad. The diesel engines, they compared to the comparable gasoline engines, which are normally air-cooled 2-cylinders, when you get up to 22, 23 horsepower, this sips maybe half the fuel that the gasoline power would do, so it's even more economical. Of course, to offset that, you pay more for the diesel. So I don't know. I've not really ciphered it out. All I know is I really like the diesel. But anyway, I can't think of anything else. If I do, I'll add it on. So like I say, now she's good to go for another 100 hours, which the way I've been running it will be maybe two seasons, and then another 300 hours before I have to do the major service. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. It's a little different from getting away from the 49 Chevy and the 75 Corvette, but hey, you know, all this stuff needs work too. So, hope everything's going good with you and yours. Everything is going good here. Can't complain. Won't do me no good to complain anyway. Just carry on and take care of that business. I do want to say, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Your life was taken far too early, and there was far too much you could have got done had a murderer not decided to change history. So rest in peace, brother. Hope to see you one day. So have a good one, and I hope to see you around on the next one. See you.